What's up, everybody? Mr. OG Games here, and today we are going to do an interview with the owner of the C40 that we brought a video to you just 2 days ago. I've collected all of your questions, both in the comments, line, and Discord, and we're going to put these questions to the man himself, Mr. SuperNooby. SuperNooby, how you doing, sir?
I'm great. Good morning from Sacramento.
Good morning to you, sir, or afternoon here-ish to me. Um, wanted to before we jump right into it, just want to thank you once again for allowing me the opportunity to take a look at the Castle 40 and to share it with so many people out there. The list of questions I have for you is quite extensive, so we'll go down the list here and hopefully put them all in order as best as possible to make this interview most exciting. So I'll jump right into the first one here for you. We'll start with an easy one here for you. What is your Infinite War high score?
Just a bit above 36,000.
36,000. And as far as, is that something that you get pretty regularly, or do you have your days where you may score quite lower than that, or is that about a good average for you?
No, 36,000 was a lot of lucky pieces or boosts that came on that time. I used to spend a lot of time on it trying to get really good scores, but right now I get above 30,000 and then I just do the auto every day after that.
Yeah, that, and I would say the same thing. Once you get a good enough level, I think after that it's just a matter of collect what you got, especially if you're focused into other things as well. Which leads me to the next question here, and this also is something that I didn't show in your video because I knew that you were working with it, and I wanted to kind of leave it to this video. But the next question: when will you begin crafting level 40 gear?
Well, I've already started crafting. I was upgrading my blacksmith when you did the video. So far, I have 2 gold level 40 pieces and 1 purple level 40 piece.
Very nice, very nice. I personally don't have any gold, so I will also, and I'm sure you guys are watching the video. Look in the I've got several pictures here that I'll show you of the level 40 gear as well, just so you can kind of get an idea of what exactly we're referring to here. Uh, the next question piggybacks that one, and it's how important is gold gear?
Well, actually, I, from a perspective of the boost you get from the gold over purple, I don't think they're there, that high, and I don't think it's a big deal. Where it is a big deal is when you start filling out your obsidian boosts. The gold gear allows a higher number of boosts than the purple gear. From that perspective, it's important, but not from the stats they're on gold versus purple. It's marginal in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. You're talking about one, two, three percentages
Yeah,
to where, yeah, and you can, like you said, the obsidian having a higher, having the ability to go at a higher level. I think that's where it would be at also. Um, one of the biggest questions I got is this your castle from C1 or did you buy into it at some point?
no, I started this castle from C1. Start new game.
Start new game. Now that there's a couple questions that kind of piggyback on that. Um, one, how long have you been playing the game with this C1 and going forward?
I think I'm at 358 days as of today.
So just wow, so just under a year, and you've maxed out at C40. That's impressive, very impressive. Uh, Another question that kind of piggybacks on top of that as well is how long did it take you to reach C30, C35, C40 from the start of that C1?
I got to C30, I think, in about 30 days. I know for sure I got to C34 at 89 days. I got to C40 at about 310 days.
Wow. So that's fast. That's real fast. I mean, my first account took me probably every bit of over a year, probably get to 30. Now, mind you, my gameplay is a little bit different than yours. Um, but then that realm kind of got to the point where we had a merge. The merge after the merge it just went south. The game has a lot to do with the people that surround you in the game, and I kind of lost taste for it. Sat out for about a couple months, came back. Then I was offered the realm that I'm in now, and the rest is history. So to do that in a year, that is remarkable, remarkable. As far as I know, resources are a big challenge in the game for some people. I'm always asked about farms. How many do you have? How many farms do you run to get you to where you're at now?
I have 30 farms. They're all about Castle 16 to Castle 20, and I've worked them very actively from the beginning of the game. I knew that farming was important, so I started day one from building farms, and I kept farming actively all the way up until I upgraded to C40. Since C40, I've not had to farm any longer, and I'm just using resources that I have and resources you get from different events and things like that. There's really not been a lot of large requirements since I've upgraded.
Yeah, yeah, and that kind of that makes sense. Once you've kind of hit that big milestone of C40, everything else, when it comes to resources anyway, are much lower than what it costs to actually drive that castle up. Uh, as far as getting there, I know obviously you've bought packs to accelerate that quickly. So another question is, what packs did you really focus on while building to get you that far up?
What are these packs you're talking about? I don't know what that is.
Oh yeah, there's this tab at the top right. They've since added about five different ones to get to where you find these packs. uh, just mainly the ones on build. I know because you got building, you got military, you've got beast artifacts. The question on the building though, I mean, I know you have a substantial amount of farms. So were you buying packs for just strictly building, or was it more focused on packs for other things?
Well, I think I would say the first 3 months I was all over the place because when I came back, I had played the game before and then come back to it, and artifacts were new and Colossus was new, and I had no
Hmm.
idea what they were and what they did for you, and so I was buying everything for a while until I started getting focused. Like I really upgrade a lot of my artifacts and then change which artifacts I was focusing on. My artifacts would be higher level stars are the ones that I equip if I
Hmm.
hadn't done that. But I think the kind of the way that I played was I was spending a lot on packs to upgrade everything at the beginning: emblems, artifacts, Colossus, um, even my dragon. I did a lot of packs. Um, I shifted after a while, and when I got to about C28, so I think it's about C28 or C29, they start giving you Azurite packs. And I can
Hmm.
tell you
Yeah,
from the moment Azurite packs started being offered to me, I bought every single Azurite pack until I upgraded to C40.
that's insane. I know that's well, like me for instance, the Azurite is what slows so many people down in the game. Uh,
Oh yeah.
Azur, yeah, I mean, if you can't focus and just obtain it that way, you're scrambling other ways to obtain it, and really the only way to obtain it and obtain it quickly is through those packs. um, is leading to another question here. um, Not necessarily with packs, but how many castle 40s do you own?
Uh, just one. I have no interest in building another one.
Fair enough. I don't doubt you there. As far as what what was your inspiration to go after Castle 40?
Well, it's interesting. I was just finished C34 and was working on C35 when C40 came out. And I was like, I'm in a newer kingdom. I don't really care. that doesn't really matter to me. I started seeing some reports, and that kind of piqued my interest a little bit. But what
Hmm.
really inspired me to do it is our alliance started really focusing on um, Elite Wars as a alliance focus. And I thought if I upgraded to like C37, that could give us a little bit of a boost and help in winning those kind of battles. So I actually didn't rush to C40. I went to C37, then I went to C38 for the Angels, and then I did some work in high technology, and then I went to C40. So I didn't have this immediately get to C40 as quickly as I can. I stopped along the way to strengthen my account for our alliance style of play. So I would say my alliance inspired me.
What is your what's your end game? What's your focus on your account once she's built up to nothing else can be done?
Well, I put off Mystic. The interesting thing, I really didn't, and you've noticed this in my account. I've not done a lot of work in Mystic College because it was something I was going to do after getting C35 done, but I switched my focus to C37. Once I got to C38, I did some high technology and then was saving to C40 to go back into high technology. So I spent a lot of time in high technology. And I think now, finally, I'm going to be working in Mystic College. I'm not really interested in boosting any of the other buildings internally because Azurite is useful for Mystic College. So that's really my focus next is just fill out Mystic College and save my Azurite. I won't be upgrading other buildings, including my barracks, because of that.
I completely understand, especially with 30 farms, there's no sense in upgrading any of the other smaller like the iron, food, wood, stone. There's no reason in doing that. Um, as far as the beast is concerned, just I think the next day after I posted the video, they entered the new beast, the Phoenix. Will you be getting the Phoenix?
I've already got it.
Already got it. Sweet. And is it worth the the attention, or is it something that you're really going to have to focus a lot on to make it as effective as say your current beast before the Phoenix?
I would say that I'm totally focused on angel play. I have 125,000, and any stat I can get for angels, I think, pays back in dividends. And I'm not sure. It may be that Phoenix may be overall weak at the low levels versus the other beasts. And because I ran Pegasus for a long time based on the video you posted showing that Pegasus gave you better battle stats, but
Hmm.
it's worth a risk to me to do so because I know angels are the strongest troop type that I have. So anything I can do to boost the stats there, I think will help out in battle.
Awesome. Excellent. And you'll have to supply some pics here so I can display for the people out there to see that, of course. Now I know with the Angels comes, and we've talked about the Elite Wars. What's your Alliance's Elite War record?
I think overall, from the beginning of time, they've won about 60% of all of their matches.
Hmm.
I can tell you that for the last 7 to 8 months, they've been winning about 80% of their matches, and they're in the top 100 overall for all servers. So obviously, that's been a big focus for our alliance.
Very nice. And that brings us to the Void record. How's the Void record there in 852?
Since we merged, we've gone undefeated, 9 wins and no losses.
Sweet, sweet. And I take it you're pretty active in the Void world.
Oh yeah, our alliance does focuses on port parties and scoring points individually and together.
Nice, very nice. The I know there in VM1, I've met your alliance leader. Um, I know there was a question about are you the alliance leader, and I guess I spoiled that question by saying you are not. Um, but as far as his leadership and everything else in the game, who has really taught you the most about the game?
Well, it's interesting. I'll tell you that we have I'm an R4 in our alliance, and we have a very strong contingent of R4s that have been R4s, and some of them R5s in other alliances. We have two co-leaders. Floki, who you've met and talked to, is our major
Mm-hmm.
leader. We have Justico, who is our other co-leader.
Mm-hmm.
Those two guys have taught me so much about the game and stats, and to some extent, I've taught them a few things, and we've learned together after playing so long together. But
Right.
the three people I've learned the most for are those two co-leaders and another player in our alliance named Fukatir. We spend a lot of time talking on the phone and discussing statistics and what different features mean and how to build a strong account.
Very nice. And that gets back to alliance and how much focus you're putting into not only yourself but the alliance. And that's awesome that you guys can bounce stuff back, because that's how you learn ultimately. You're either going to learn it by mistake, learn it from info, learn it from watching it, whatever the case may be. But having the support there, like, gels the alliance and takes you to the next level. uh, um, Next levels, what artifacts will you be pushing next?
About 60 fragments from maxing my Excalibur, which will give me 11% army damage. So that's definitely my next boost.
Or as I know, the high tech you've been playing a lot with as well. Um, what's your high tech journey from here? Can you go on the Angels, or are you gonna dabble in something else?
So I'm pretty much maxed on Angels, on leadership. I think that's the one for March size, and
Mm-hmm.
also on the Elite Wars. There's maybe one or two more things in Elite Wars. My college is level 39, so if I get to 40, I can get a little bit more. But it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much maxed down the left side of the tree. We don't really focus on invasion wars a lot, so I've left that. That'll be one of the last things I go back to. For now, I would say high technology is on hold.
Now I get the question Cav Archer a lot. Castle 37, a good candidate for Cav Archers.
So I was one of the first person in our realm to go Cav frontline, and since then I've spent a lot of time learning it and playing with it, and I've been asked this question a lot personally. And I tell everybody the minimum you have to be at to switch to Cav frontline is C35 with C35 gear, and
Mm-hmm.
also level 3 dodge in the Mystic College. With those two
Yeah.
things together, you have sufficient HP and defense for Cav from the gear, plus that dodge to give you a pretty good front line. The stats aren't as high as infantry when you switch over, but that dodge makes up for it when it gets hit and you lose nothing on the hits. That makes up for a lot of HP.
As far as the next question there, following that C37 question, someone asked, is there a cost effective way to push artifacts, VIP, and Azerite?
I believe unless you're going to spend a lot, and my take and what I've looked at is if you're going to max the purchase of Azurite packs, it's about $800 a week. So if you can't afford that,
Jeez.
then you have to be patient, and you have to, I would tell you that I would max your purchase of stamina in the merchant every day, and max the number of monsters you kill. Make sure you always have your Azurite mine boosted, and I think that
Hmm.
that's the most efficient way to, from a non-spending perspective, be able to build Azurite up. And if you can't buy stamina in the merchant because it does take gems, you can buy some from um, uh, the whatever you get the points from converting resources. If you can't do
Yeah,
that,
merchant
then
ship.
yeah, build
Yeah.
some stamina gear. And with stamina gear, you could kill 80 to 100 monsters a day just from having the right gear on. So it's a matter of what you invest on and the strategy you take towards it. But I believe that's the best way to maximize stamina from a non-spending perspective. For
Hmm.
VIP, I would definitely say it is just something to be patient with. I've had people focus on getting VIP in the merchant, but it doesn't come that often there. Um,
Hmm.
you get VIP from logging in every day. You get some from events. You can purchase it in the Infinite War store. So
Yep.
I think it's just what do you want to work on? But I think that for most people, VIP is a long-term project. It takes a couple years to max it out, and everybody's pretty much in the same boat. Only spenders can afford to max out VIP quickly or way ahead of everybody else. And I don't think it's a game changer if you do. So I would say for Azurite, for VIP, even for artifacts, is to be patient. If you're not a spender, you're not going to get all gold gear,
And
and
I
you're not
can,
going to get high star levels. Just not going to happen.
yep, and I can contest to that exactly. You just got to know the game and know how to play it to the best of your advantage with
Hey,
what you
there's
got.
purple gear and even gold, blue gear that is really good and give you decent stats.
Hmm.
So it's not all or nothing. If you can't get gold gear in artifacts, doesn't mean you can't have good stats.
I can completely agree with you. Absolutely. It's just about what you focus on and having the right stuff on for the right thing. Um, as far as what's your favorite event and why is it your favorite event?
I would say hands down Elite Wars. I'm not the best strategist in the game. We have a top rate commander, Justico. The guy is a total stud, and he learns and learns and learns. So where he was when we started to where he is today, we've pulled out some wins against some really tough competition just based on our strategy. And I love the team aspect. It takes everybody in the alliance to play and play well to win that event at the level that we're playing at. So it's the most challenging, it's the most nerve wracking, and it's the most enjoyable when we win.
Excellent. Excellent. That's personally my favorite as well because it takes a lot more than just press and attack, speeding over and watching your troops do something.
Right.
It takes a group effort and knowing exactly what needs to be done. So yeah, I couldn't agree with that one as far as that goes. Um, what are your most important account features in your opinion?
So the thing that I learned pretty late in the game is the importance of angels and the importance of damage stats above all other possible statistics you could get in your account. And when I'm talking about damage, is anything in artifacts that says damage, the word damage in it, obsidian boosts that have the word damage. You get some in Colossus, even in the active beast skills. There are some that you can get there. But anywhere you see the word damage, it's far better than attack, HP, and defense. So I would say to focus on that. I've told people that are just starting out to save Obsidian and buy Obsidian at discount and save it up, buy it in the Infinity War store, even long before they get to C25, because once they get to C25, the greatest benefit to their account is starting to get really good spins on their Obsidian, on their gear, on their level 25 gear. And then the next thing is Angels, and they're so overwhelmingly stronger than any other troop type. So I didn't learn this when I built my C40, but on my C35 from day one, I started building Saving Guardian Force. So now I have already, and that account is less than 160 days, and I already have 99,000 angels, T11 angels, and I've got
Yeah,
pretty
that's
good stats
sweet.
on them.
Very nice. Yeah, the Angels are a big key, especially for your favorite event, Elite Wars.
Oh,
Hands
definitely.
down, hands down, the best troop. Now I've
And
got,
our alliance is focused on that.
yeah, well, exactly. When you go into an Elite War and if you have everybody focused on the exact same thing, same formation,
Hmm.
that's where that leadership comes from that you're talking about with strategy. You can do a whole lot more than a lot of people thrown together with no clear vision. Uh, I've got a couple more questions for you,
Sure.
and probably the most asked question, and this is gonna follow up by two different ones, and I really honestly I don't expect you to answer it, but I have to ask it because people have asked me, how much have you spent on the account?
I don't mind answering that question at all. The answer is too much, which
Too
is the
much.
same answer for all of us, right?
Pretty much. Too much. Exactly. Exactly.
If you go
As
back to
far
my,
as what?
let me just say one more thing about that. So if you go back to the previous question about how long did it take me to get to C30, et cetera. So I got to C30 in about a month, and I got to C40 in 11 months. For
Hmm.
10 solid months, I bought every Azurite pack. And if that is $800 per week, you can add that up to get an idea of just what I've spent on Azurite alone. I bought a lot of
That's
other packs too, so
yeah.
that gives you an idea of what it costs to get an account at that level.
Exactly. And the bad thing is you could. And most people say, why don't you just buy a C35? Why don't you just buy a C37? For somebody like yourself that has built this from the ground up, they'd have to, for you to even recruit a quarter of what you've put into it would be outrageous. Nobody could. So I mean, yes,
It's
yes,
not an
I like.
investment. It's
Yeah,
not the other thing that you lose if you do buy an account, and I know you can buy accounts, is I enjoy getting 1% more attack. I enjoy getting another 300 on my March size. Every little thing along the way, every day I've gotten some little significant improvement on my account of something that's inched it forward. And that little tinkering and playing with it and deciding on what I'm going to work on next is a large part of the enjoyment of the game for me. I wouldn't give
and
up that experience for savings.
well, exactly. I'm the same way. You see, when I put out a video, I make
Well,
big deals about stuff that probably people look at and be like, "Oh yeah, okay, whatever." It's a big deal to me though. It's an accomplishment, and I couldn't agree with you more there. Just as you're growing, what you're not only learning, but what you're building yourself is the game for me, anyways. Um, couple last questions, kind of on that cost factor. What advice do you give to low spenders or even non-spenders to improve their accounts? I know we've kind of touched base on it, but any kind of closing marks, and I'll also wrap that up with what advice would you give to like a moderate spender?
I think for the low spender and the moderate spender, I would tell them the two things to focus on in the early stages of the game is Obsidian and Angels. Angels just take patience. You build them over time, over months, right? You can only collect so much Guardian Force every day. You can only build so many Angels every day. I would say don't worry about hanging on to troops. Use them to gain Guardian Force every day. If you don't know how to do that, go watch Mr. OG Games video on that on the Angel Maker because I adopted that and I've seen a lot of people do that. Angel play is important and you'll get a lot of enjoyment because saving it up over a long period of time and knowing that it takes a long period of time helps you feel like you've really earned something once you've gotten to max angels. And then on the
Hmm.
Obsidian, the most significant early part of the game, and when I say early part of the game, I'm saying C25 to C30, boost you can do to your account is spinning the right Obsidian boosts on your gear. That's far better than gear upgrades. It's better than Colossus upgrades. And I would say that those would be the two things I'd tell people to focus on. The last thing I'll say is, man, in the early part of the game, and I'm talking up to 6 months from start, HP is king. Everybody gets enamored with attack, but HP wins events. In my new alliance in 1096, our Elite Wars record is 22-0, and we have far lower castle levels than the people we fight against, but we have a consistent high infantry HP across our whole alliance because we focused on it.
Very nice. Yeah, the HP really it keeps your troops in the game longer.
Yeah,
Basically. Basically, the longer you're there, the more you can wreak havoc.
and
Absolutely.
it's harder for the opponent to get to your back line.
Exactly. Hands down. And send in the right amounts. HP is a game changer. A couple kind of one last game question, and then we'll kind of wrap things up. What's your best moment and your worst moment in the game so far?
I think that when I really found my way in Elite Wars and how to play I play as a blocker, and when I learned how to do that and felt like I was contributing to the overall strategy, that's probably the best moment in the game for me. And the worst moment is I ported by myself in Void Wars and didn't use my Royal Challenge to send my extra troops out when I did an attack. And I got hit by 22 accounts and lost 900,000 troops.
That's humbling, to say the least.
And 60,000 of those troops were angels. That was really painful.
Oh my, yes, I've been there, done that one. Wow. Yeah, I share that pain with you on that. As far as how are you balancing, real life and gaming? Do you have like a routine that you have, or is it just a come as you go type thing?
Well, different days I have different amounts of time to invest in the game. And I think that's true of anybody, right? So
Hmm.
I prioritize what I'm going to work on. I always do my dailies every day. I think I've only missed finishing my dailies one time in the year I've played. So that becomes a focus. I'm not always very social and AC because of that. I come in, I just need to get my dailies done. I'm doing that. I'm doing my Infinite Wars, killing my monsters, and I make sure I do that every day because I think that that adds to your count strength every day. Even if you're a spender, you shouldn't neglect getting some free stuff from
Hmm.
doing dailies and killing beasts and participating in events and things like that. It all adds up, right? It's
Absolutely, absolutely. Having a daily routine and having a focus, regardless of how much you got going on elsewhere, will keep you that much in tune in the game. That's for sure.
Yeah,
As far
definitely.
as any last final statements, shout outs, closing info you want to share before we end the interview?
As far as a shout out, I'm going to embarrass you a little bit. I really think that your channel is really important to the game. I think it's having people that are positive about the game, that get excited about the little things is important. But the greater shout out is I want to give a shout out to my fellow leadership team in VM1 and 852. They've really made the Alliance a powerhouse. They invest so much of their extra time talking about strategy, talking about management, how to decide on which players we're going to do what with. They have a gear room where they go through everybody's accounts and screenshots and give them advice on how to build their account. And all those things are a lot of hours and a lot of time and a lot of passion. And for the average player in our alliance, they probably don't know how much is done to guarantee the success that we have. So I'm going to give a shout out to my fellow leaders in 852 and say that that's probably a really great group of people that I am really honored to play with.
Absolutely. That is well said, man. Well said. I appreciate you letting me go through the 38 when you were there, and also letting me go through the 40, sharing it with people. I know it's given a lot of people inspiration as far as maybe how to drive their castle a little bit. Also showing them what can be done and what they can do to be a better player. And I appreciate you letting me take them out for a spin a couple times, and also for sharing your time with me today doing this interview. Greatly appreciate it, and I'm sure everybody's going to be excited to hear from you.
No, thank you, and it's been a joy to work with you, and I love being part of your line group, and the energy that's in that room is an important social element to the game as well.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, sir. Everybody, Super Newbie, Realm 852, Alliance VM1. Watch out. They're digging further in the Elite War rankings, and they'll be coming to a realm near you. Everybody, once again, big shout out to Super Newbie. Thank you very much, sir. Have a good day, and hopefully we can do this again.
I'll see you in the next one.
That's my line. See you in the next one. Bye bye.